For today's headlines, strong private sector role in vax program according to Velasco. Duterte fears COVID rebound. Department of Energy boosts clean energy project. Comelec social media verification move lauded. Israeli Prime Minister makes historic UAE visit. Department of Health credits Caloocan's 100% vax effort. Western Cebu towns eye dredging. Good morning, I am Venice Bautista and you are watching Tribune News on Q. Today is December 14, 2021 and here are the latest news of this Tuesday morning. Since there is now an ample supply of safe and effective COVID-19 vaccines globally, it is time that the national government considers allowing the private sector to deal directly with the manufacturers and ensure a more sustainable and dependable supply of life-saving vaccines for Filipinos. With stocks of vials assured, it's now time for the Philippine government to allow the private sector to procure anti-COVID-19 vaccines directly from the manufacturers, House Speaker Lord Alan Velasco said on Monday. For House Leader, it's like hitting two birds with one shot. Funds that could be saved by the government, he stated, could be used to kickstart efforts in national economic recovery. The Marinduque lawmaker said allowing the private sector to be an active partner in the government's vaccination program can sustain the momentum of more aggressive inoculation efforts in the country. He urged the national government to start reviewing and revising the policy on COVID-19 vaccine procurement and authorize private firms to purchase their own vaccines. Under Public Act 11525, or the COVID-19 Vaccination Program Act of 2021, private companies and local government units are authorized to procure vaccines that were given emergency use authorization through a tripartite agreement with manufacturers and the national government, represented by the Department of Health and the National Task Force Against COVID-19. Velasco, who was the principal author of the said law in the House of Representatives, said he was open to introducing amendments to allow private companies to directly purchase vaccines for their workers and their dependents. President Rodrigo Duterte has warned the public that there may be a resurgence in coronavirus infections if health protocols against COVID-19 will continue to be ignored during political events ahead of the May 2022 elections. Duterte on Monday called on the Commission on Elections to ensure that mask wearing and physical distancing are enforced during election caravans and rallies, noting that the country is not yet out of the woods amid the COVID-19 Omicron threat. The president reminded the public that the country remains under a public health emergency, adding that Filipinos should be wary of possible super spreader events despite the improving COVID-19 situation. The Comelec previously said that all individuals running for public office should observe restrictions on physical campaigning based on a category-level system in light of the continuing COVID-19 pandemic. While the official campaign period has yet to begin, presidential, vice presidential, and senatorial aspirants have been conducting events to woo voters in 2022. Duterte is supporting the vice presidential bid of his daughter, Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio, whose recent political events drew crowds, and he has yet to name his preferred successor. In his speech, the president also called on the public to exercise prudence and caution during Christmas parties and family gatherings. Department of Energy Secretary Alfonso G. Cusi has approved the implementation of the OECD Clean Energy Finance and Investment Mobilization program to address green financing challenges and jumpstart the energy transition goals of the Philippine Energy Plan. The DOE said Monday that the program will help the country in pursuing green energy development, which usually requires long-term financing and active participation from the private sector and financing institutions. DOE also noted that even with a global trend towards green development and energy transition, the low rate of investments in these areas remains a major drawback. In the Philippines, the CEFIM will be implemented as the energy arm of a broader German-funded OECD program on sustainable infrastructure for the Paris Agreement. The SIPA is supporting the Philippines through the coordination of the National Economic and Development Authority, as well as a number of other countries across Southeast and Central Asia to accelerate investment in sustainable infrastructure projects. Under the CEFIM, the Philippines can develop a clean energy finance and investment roadmap to support the country's economic recovery plans and clean energy ambition through the identification of innovative financing solutions and effective investment vehicles, which will deepen local capital markets, bring in investors, and attract international capital in clean energy. As the country moves towards a climate-safe future, initiatives encouraging green investments and financing, such as the CEFIM program, will now be a critical component of the Philippine Energy Plan, as well as the government's post-pandemic programs. Tribune News on Q will be back after these short reminders.
Botomoto Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Chris masaya, pagsama-sama.
Bong, yung naumpisahan ko, tapusin mo. Mga bagong highway, tulay, tren, dapat ma-enjoy na kaagad ng mga tao yan. Kailangan lahat bakunado at laging may ayuda pag kailangan. Huwag dapat makabalik ang mga drug lords para ligtas ang pamilya. Yung ginawa mong malasakit centers, maganda yan. Padamihin mo pa. Magkasama tayo. Tayo ang nagsimula, tuloy-tuloy lang. Bong.
Botomoto Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Chris masaya, pagsama-sama.
We're back on Tribune News on Q. Presidential aspirant and Senator Panfilo Ping Lacson on Monday lauded the Commission on Elections over its new policy mandating aspirants vying for national and local positions to have their social media accounts verified before releasing political advertisements in the 2022 polls. He said that the use of social media platforms has almost become the qualifying barometer in educating, but ironically and worse, disinformation to the point of deceiving our people. This could lead to wrong choices of officials who will lead our country in these most trying times in our history. In November, the poll body and bank passed a resolution which sets the implementing rules and regulations of Republic Act 9006 or the Fair Elections Act. Among these are the guidelines on election campaigning done via internet, mobile platforms, and social media. The policy, however, met criticisms over the weekend, saying it may further imbalance the playing field online. It also prompted several national candidates to appeal for help from their supporters to help them reach 100,000 subscribers and get the blue badge for their YouTube accounts. Comelec spokesperson James Jimenez assured candidates it is working with officials of YouTube to make the verification process for their channels easier. Israel's Naftali Bennett arrived in the United Arab Emirates Sunday for the first official visit by a prime minister of the Jewish state after the countries established diplomatic ties last year. The trip announced by Bennett's office comes with Israel making a renewed diplomatic push against international talks which global powers resumed with its arch foe Iran over the Islamic Republic nuclear program. Bennett on Monday meets Abu Dhabi Crown Prince Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan to discuss deepening the ties between Israel and the UAE, especially economic and regional issues, the Prime Minister's office said. There was no immediate comment from the UAE on the visit, which Bennett called historic. He was received in Abu Dhabi by UAE Foreign Minister Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan and an honor guard according to his office. The Prime Minister said he appreciated the very warm hospitality. The Department of Health National Capital Region Office has lauded Caloocan City for vaccinating against COVID-19 100% of its target population. DOH NCR Regional Director Gloria Balboa and Local Health Support Division Chief Dr. Amelia Medina awarded to Mayor Oscar Malapitan a certificate of recognition for the feat. Caloocan City's Health Department was also credited by DOH NCR for its implementation in the city of the Duterte administration's vaccination program. The Health Department also recognized Malapitan's leadership regarding the city's solidarity with the national government's Bayanihan Bakunahan National COVID-19 Vaccination Days from 29 of November to the 1st of December. Aside from conducting mass vaccination within the city, Malapitan also sent a team to assist in the vaccination efforts in Obando, Bulacan during the 3-day program. Tribune News on Q will be back. Stay with us.
Botomoto Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Chris masaya, pagsama-sama. Mapalutong bahay man o sumptuous meal for special occasions, sagot na kayo ng tropang Kalanpag. Dahil atid sa inyo ng Daily Tribune ang fun and exciting cooking show na Kalanpag, manood at matuto kung paano lutuin ang mga favorite nyong recipes. Sabayan pa ng fun and inspiring na kwentuhan sa kusina. I-upgrade na rin natin ang mga nakasanayang traditional dish ng pamilya. Plus, healthy tipid tips na ibabahagi ng tropang Kalanpag. Matuto, mabusog at good vibes dito lang sa Kalanpag tuwing Lunes, 10:30 a.m. sa Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube. Mga impormasyong direktang makukuha mula sa sources at diretsahang usapan. Yan ang atid namin sa inyo sa programang Straight Talk. Samahan nyo kami sa makabuluhang talakayan live tuwing Martes alas 10 ng umaga sa official Facebook page ng Daily Tribune at Tribune Now on YouTube. Alamin ang latest entertainment at sa mga paborito nyong celebrities kasama si Pocholo Concepcion sa programang WhatsApp. Makibanding at kwentuhan kasama ang mga kilalang personalidad sa entertainment industry. Sama-sama natin silang kilalanin at silipin ang makulay nilang mundo every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Kaya sit back and relax lang kayo mga katribu. Hanapin at ilike ang Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube. Dahil sagot na namin ang masayang kwentuhan dito lang sa WhatsApp. Magandang araw mga katribu! Narito na ang mga makakasama nyo tuwing umaga sa programang Gising Na. Roy Pelovelo, Comfy Manalo, Atty. Lia Badillo Crisostomo, Vernon Velasco, Kim Sancha at Jerk Balagtas. Abangan ang programang Gising Na mula alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga sa Facebook page ng Daily Tribune.
Ilabas na ang mainit na kape at samahan kami sa inyong pag-almusal, mga katribo.
Sama-sama natin alamin ang mga natatagong istorya sa mga latest na kaganapan sa loob at labas ng bansa. Simulan natin ang bawat umaga with good vibes sa mga informative and recreational segments ng aming programa.
Maaari niyo rin ibahagi sa amin ang inyong opinion via Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now sa YouTube.
Makichika na rin sa latest showbiz happenings, mga katribo.
Kaya naman, magkita-kita po tayo mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga at magsama-sama po tayo sa
Gising na!
Mga katribu, tara na't makiisa at matuto sa mga public service programs hatid ng Kalingang Katribu. Tuwing Lunes, nandyan ang usapang business na magbibigay tips at inspirasyon sa mga aspiring entrepreneurs kasama sina Compi Manalo at Vernon Velasco. Tuwing Miyerkules, usapang pangkalusugan naman ang tatalakayin ni Miss Cory Quirino sa Health and Wellness. At tuwing Biyernes naman, kung legal advice ang kailangan mo, sagot ka na ng Legal Diaries kasama si Elmer Navarro Manuel at mga guest lawyers. Lahat ng niya mapapanood tuwing alas 3:30 ng hapon sa Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube.
Botomoto Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Chris Masaya, pagsama-sama.
You are still watching Tribune News on Q. The Department of Public Works and Highways and Central Visayas announced that 3 big rivers in the municipalities of Asturias, Tuburan, and Balamban will be dredged within 2 months to prevent flooding in the areas. This comes after the agency and the Cebu provincial government signed a memorandum of agreement to clean up the Ginabasan Santa Lucia River in Asturias. The dredging aims to clear the area of mud, rocks, and other obstructions to widen the area where water could flow to the sea and to prevent a repeat of the great flooding that occurred in the town in the same month last year, which affected 156 families in at least 3 barangays. 4 contractors have been commissioned to undertake the dredging of the river within an area 1 kilometer from the shore, and the Office of the Governor has issued a special disposal permit good for 2 months that will allow dispatch of waste materials to be collected from the dredging. And that wraps up the stories this morning. Before we go, we would like to thank the following: the SM Store, Department of Tourism, Araneta City, MG Motors, Hina Motors, Security Bank, and Overseas Community Affairs Council member Alan Lin of Republic of China for their continued support. Again, this is Venice Bautista on Tribune News on Q, reminding you that we only have 11 days until Christmas. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good morning.
Catch the latest news on our website, tribune.net.ph. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. Download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS and Google Play for Android to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune invites you to join its Viber community, Katribu, to get updates on the hottest news on politics, business, sports, lifestyle, and entertainment. Emoticons of the Tribune mascot Tercito are available on our community Viber.